topic number 3 says, what's going on my computer again? Should be topic number 3 says, why do we often ignore health is essential for African liberation? Some of our revolutionary Jegna have died young due to not taking care of their health. Of course, this comes with a link that takes us to Twitter. And it's a post by Eli Wananda. I try to hop on his live streams. He was live earlier today, but Brother Bakari was on. He's been going over blueprint for Black Power the last few weeks, and so I try to tune in. He seems like a decent brother from the UK. So he says we must take control of our health from these vampires. This is, of course, about understanding how the body works, calibrating our diets, etc. But it also means organizing to address the systematic exacerbators of diseases. Health is political. And this is a caption to a retweet that says the richest man in history created the pharmaceutical machine that is keeping you sick. Here's how John D. Rockefeller did. Now, this is a thread. So I'm going to read the thread because I think I posted this on the Discord too. It's interesting how things become norms. Just pay attention to this thread, right? So this guy says, Western medicine has a focus on drug, surgery, and radiation. Preventative diets and holistic practices are highly discouraged by doctors. In fact, health practitioners who prescribe these things are seen as quote-unquote quacks and cast off by Western medicine. He says, in the U.S., we are not in the practice of healthcare. We are in the practice of sick care. Currently, 70% of U.S. adults are overweight or obese. 1 in 3 Americans are pre-diabetic. 7 out of 10 deaths are caused by chronic illness. Heart disease kills 500,000 Americans yearly. Right? You see this graph showing you the increase in prevalence of obesity from 20 to 74 years. So over the decades from the 60s, it was, relatively decent, maybe 12% up until 1980. And then it has exponential increase from 1980 to 2000 and still going up, a few dips, but still going up now. So it's so the prevalence is approaching like 40% of obesity in U.S. adults. That's interesting. He says, we are also in a prescription drug epidemic due to our ties with Big Pharma and our tendency to overprescribe. Currently, 16 million Americans abuse prescription drugs. 2 million prescription drug abusers are addicted. 4 to 5 pharmacy-filled prescriptions are opioids. He says, this thread will detail the bizarre history behind John D. Rockefeller's creation of Big Pharma and the foundations of Western medicine that are destroying our metabolic health. He said John D. Rockefeller was an oil magnate and one of the richest men in history. He was America's first billionaire and amassed a fortune of $418 billion adjusted for inflation. Through monopolistic practices, Rockefeller grew his company, Standard Oil, to control 90% of all oil refineries in the U.S. Standard Oil has since broken up and has now become Chevron, Exxon, Mobil, etc. Yes, that's how big Standard Oil was in its prime. In 1900, scientists discovered petrochemicals. These were chemicals that could be created from oil. Bakelite, the first plastic, was created from oil in 1907. Scientists were discovering various synthetic vitamins that could be used to treat illnesses such as scurvy and rickets that were caused by vitamin deficiencies. Rockefeller thought that petrochemicals could also be used to create vitamins and medications. Petrochemicals would allow Rockefeller to monopolize another industry in addition to oil. Business-wise, Rockefeller could patent these petrochemicals and sell them for immense profits. Rockefeller acted quickly and purchased part of IG Farben, a German manufacturing company. Side note, IG Farben supplied the Nazis during World War II. Yep, look it up. I also think they made the first Anacin or aspirin back in the day too. However, Rockefeller faced a major dilemma as he looked to monopolize medicine. Natural and herbal medicines were incredibly popular at the time. Many doctors and medical schools in the US were advocating holistic practices as treatment and cure. Like he did for other competing oil companies, Rockefeller viewed natural remedies as his quote unquote competition that needed to be decimated. Rockefeller teamed up with Andrew Carnegie and hired a man named Abraham Flexner through the Carnegie Foundation. Flexner's role was to travel the US and review medical schools and hospitals across the country. This led to the Flexner Report, which resulted in the closure of almost 50% of all medical schools. Homeopathy and natural medicines were utterly decimated in the report. Some holistic doctors were even jailed. Rockefeller also donated a whopping $100 million to colleges and hospitals under his philanthropic group called the General Education Board. In a short period of time, medical schools and hospitals were homogenized with the same approach. Medicine was just about patented drugs, not utilizing holistic and natural approaches as treatment. Rockefeller's next step was to launch a smear campaign against his holistic competitors. Homeopathy and natural medicines were quickly discredited by the newspapers and media outlets. Right? So this is actual drawing from back in the day showing Rockefeller's reach across the earth. Right? Rockefeller his approach worked incredibly well as he decimated the holistic competition and ultimately created our current medical system. This system continues today. Big Pharma makes large donations to medical schools in exchange for these schools to prescribe their drugs. Right? So you see companies like Bristol Myers, right? Again, this post is not to bash on Western medicine. It is to show the unfiltered history of John D. Rockefeller and the role he played in shaping our current medical system. The next time your doctor spends 3 minutes with you during your visit and you feel like a customer instead of a patient, this post will hopefully give you clarity. Not surprisingly, the cost of medical care in the US is #1 in the world, yet our quality is ranked at number 37. I'll stop there because, that last thing he says there, I deal with that regularly. When I go for a checkup to my doctor, I'm in there. I see that doctor maybe 5 to 7 minutes. And from there, let's go do blood work, go do this, and pay your money. Pay your money as soon as you come in, by the way. That copay, whatever they call that, pay that as soon as you come in. And you see that doctor for maybe 5 minutes. It's something. And this whole topic reminds me of a Rock Newman interview with Dr. Sebi shortly before he died, where Sebi was talking about how he reached out to a lot of like Black leadership, and none of them would really listen to his appeals to put a focus on health as well as everything else. Listen, if you sick and dying, what is liberation to you? You know what I mean? So we really ought to take time to focus more on our health situation. With that said, let's get back to the topic at hand. Why do we often ignore health is essential for African liberation? Some of our revolutionary Jegna, our heroes, have died young due to not taking care of their health. Black Steel, let me start with you. What are your thoughts on why, we don't, especially amongst those of us who are liberation minded, who are nationhood minded, how come we don't talk health much?
Well, I don't think that we consider the priority, which I think definitely does have to change. The food that we put into our bodies and what we consume is very important. I know you mentioned something about Dr. Sebi appealing to Black leaders. We have to understand the people who are our quote unquote leaders are not put in place to benefit uh, our people, mainly. The real Black leaders who was really down for the people. Most of those people are really under under a lot of stress. They're not the ones that are really considered to be leaders in the community. Those people are genuinely taken out. They're arrested. So I'm not surprised that any of these so-called leaders Dr. Sebi went to had any real concern about the health of Black Americans. And like he was saying before, it's not just Black people in general. I know, although that's our main concern. Generally, we have our food system is toxic. The food is full of preservatives and additives. And it's not just, I don't want just to put the focus on just Rockefeller, because Big Pharma is bigger than just Rockefeller. It's just, as somebody who worked in the pharmaceutical industry, I know the amount of people, especially white people, who are literally dying, dropping like flies due to opioid addiction, fentanyl overdoses. Is not widely known, but the life expectancy of white America has actually gone down due to these drugs. Their life expectancy is decreasing. So, of course, when white people get a cold, Black people get pneumonia, because we're in this racist society, and and another thing too, Black people in America are generally poor. Good health care is expensive, but to your point, you can really change your diet, but also to understand that in many places in at least the United States, there's not a lot of access to fresh fruit and vegetables. Many Black people live in what they call food deserts, so there's not a lot of available healthy food choices for many people. That's something that really we have to talk about as well. Um, there's an abundance of fast food places. When you go to a majority Black neighborhood, you're going to see McDonald's, you're going to see the Burger Kings, the pizza joints. You're going to see all of these in that area. You're not going to see the Whole Foods. You're not going to see the Sprouts and the other places where you can get healthy options for food. That is deliberately by design. So I think to address the healthy eat situation, we're going to have to take control of our neighborhoods. Like Bakari often mentions, uh, Black-owned grocery stores. That's something that we're going to have to do. Many, from my understanding, the few Black farmers that there are that still exist, they don't receive the subsidies and the help from the government that these white farmers do. So even with that being said, a lot of the healthy food choices that we need to make is out of reach for a lot of our people. So I think that's one reason why they don't really mention it, because they don't really see a way around it. So um, I'll leave off there, but I'll let some other people speak. But this is a very good topic, and I do think that we have to really focus on that. And I think also too, we many of us in our jobs, we're sitting down, we're not moving around, we're not exercising, and that also contributes to our health as well. If we don't get up and move around, that's almost as bad as eating disgusting food all the time. So I'll leave it there. Okay, thanks.
Appreciate that, Black Steel. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah, some nice comments going on in the chat. I'll read some of them shortly. I see Afro Native World said he's going to go back and check out the book club. Finish listening to the books from the glory days of the book club. Yeah, do that, man. It was a good time. It was a good time, for real. With that said, let me hear from Jose. Jose, what say you?
It's this dude. I don't know, man. He's done so much, and look at him, man. He's done so much. He changed the world, and some things he didn't do alone, but the whole school system is. Yeah, today I was thinking these creatures, and we live with them, and we are becoming them. And let me explain. I had the thought with a short that what is it? Boxer? Is he a boxer or a wrestler? The guy from Cameroon, and he was explaining polygamy, and I really, I really thought that we gotta leave, man. We have to shit, man. My how do you say it in English?
Get away.
we have to look for each other and find each other, and I mean find each other, not just find each other like you're sitting at home and I found you on social media. No, go and find each other and go and be with each other before we become them, because we don't understand life anymore for living close to these creatures. I mean, everything, they change everything. Well, they're not from this planet. They nothing that is alive. I mean, everything that lives on this planet is threatened by these creatures. And I'll leave it at that.
Appreciate that, Jose. Yeah, these guys, these people are something else, man. This guy Rockefeller in the picture, I can't remember if it was him or a younger brother who died a couple years ago, like 101 or 103, and had like somehow had like 4 heart transplants in his lifetime. This shit is crazy. With that said, let's hear from our boy Anthony. Anthony, what say you to all this?
I think you know what it make me think about, Coco. I think about it makes me think about, now I got a lot of problems with the Nation of Islam, but Elijah Muhammad put out a book called How to Eat to Live.
Yep, I respect him for that. Go ahead, Anthony.
And I had that book, and man, it was a great book, man. And what I think all black people should study. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean your health is the most important thing you got, really. You think about, you know what I'm saying? Your health is the most. I mean, you got to have your health. You know what I'm saying? But and at the same time, I mean, you know, I think they done turned the health, the whole medical field, the health industry, the medical industry, into such a cash thing. You know what I'm saying? That this is I mean, it's ridiculous now, man. I mean, you know, you got the damn near you get cancer. They got you can get cancer, and they have certain kinds of cancer, man. Because I was reading the story about this man where this person had a particular kind of cancer, and the surgery to cure that cancer, or at least the operate on them, cost like $500,000. You know what I'm saying? $500,000. I mean, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, man, you know, white folks will co-op anything to turn it if they can make money off of it. They'll co-op dog shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they could make money off of it, and they'd have made the whole healthcare industry, you know, the medical industry, a money racket. I mean, they'd have made it into a money racket. But yeah, I mean, I still, you know, I mean, health is a major factor, man. We got to be cognizant of our health, man. No, we got to eat better. Me and Bakari, we was on a show earlier talking about, you know, about food and stuff. We, you know, country food we used to eat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, we got to. I mean, I'm trying to get more health conscious myself, man.
Good.
I'm trying to. I mean, because you know, like you said, look at Kwame Ture, brother stole the car. He died. He was what, about 58?
Yeah.
59. You know what I'm saying? Died from? I think he died from cancer. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was prostate cancer he died from.
Yeah, prostate cancer. You know, and that's a big thing in the black community too. Prostate cancer. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, our health is important. Our health is very important, man. It's something that we have to do. Like, I mean, where I live in Shreveport, we don't have no black grocery store. We got a black a farmer who just started up a little small market right up the street from me. You know, I buy from him all the time. But that's the only healthy food that we have in Shreveport. I mean, for our community. I mean,
I forgot to say something. They also fuck with the language. When I was listening, I intended to say this, so I really forgot it. I really want to say this, and probably in English, they also have these type of tricks. it becomes more normal, and you keep saying it and you keep programming yourself. It's this. Before hospitals here in the Netherlands, before hospitals were called healing houses, right? Like 50 years ago or 100 years ago, it was healing house, right? And now it's literally sick house. So it was geneeshuis, healing house, and now it's ziekenhuis, sick house.
That's a
Just
big difference.
That's a difference. Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Just saying.
I think
Yeah,
that
that's a big difference.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
Buana,
it's
go ahead.
interesting. Yeah, I think it's interesting what Bobby Wright said just now, because I am reminded of that book to Eat to Live by Elijah Muhammad. That to me that was a revolutionary book, because most people never was considering eating once a day, one meal a day. Letting your stomach or your digestive system take a rest. That wasn't in the minds of black people before that book. And I think that book was a revolutionary book, in particularly the black community, because we wasn't really thinking on them kinds of levels. We was thinking on the levels of eating 3 meals a day. And it's like not giving your body a break. We must eat 3 meals a day, and what we eat wasn't even in our mindset. So the fact that a person who ain't graduate primary school could come up with that kind of thinking, it was really a revolutionary thing. I think that now some of the things that he was suggesting that we eat is questionable, but that 1 meal a day still is a fashionable thing in today's society. They call it what? Intermittent fasting. That's what they call it now. But we used to call it back then. It was just 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day. You skip your food and skip it. These things was revolutionary, I think. In terms of Bobby Wright being in Shreveport, Louisiana. Louisiana is a coastal city, I think. So I mean, you could get the freshest fish. Yeah, at least you could get your fish. You know what I mean? You get your omega-3. So you might not be able to get the vitamins, but maybe you could trade with people who further up north who do more agricultural stuff. But Louisiana, and you get the best fish in the world in Louisiana because it's right by the coast.
Yeah, we got a lot
But,
of fish.
yeah. I was thinking that. What else? What else I wanted to say? Yeah, another thing too is when we think being revolutionary, a lot of the brothers think taking up arms and going to fight. But I just try to let the brothers know that's just one aspect of being revolutionary. In
What is?
particular, a black revolutionary, because a black revolutionary wanted to be revolutionary in the black world is to be healthy too, because they want the black people to be sick. That's why they put all the McDonald's in our communities and areas, and that's why they put all the fast food. So a revolutionary act is to say, I ain't eating none of that shit. I eat the food that I prepare and I cook it. I can watch over my stomach because I want to live a long life. That is a revolutionary act.
Hey,
In a
Buana.
society which, go ahead, brother, go ahead, sorry.
Hey, no, hey, Buana, I was just gonna say, you know how they put a pawn shop, a church, a liquor store, and they put a church's chicken in the black neighborhood too.
And a gun store.
Hey, yeah, in our neighborhood, they buy the guns from the pawn shop.
It's
I was just gonna
wild.
say, so you right? They put that church's chicken with them steroid chickens right there in the neighborhood too.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And you remind me. Thank you for reminding me. I would tell the brothers, if you can't find the healthy foods at the regular places you all go to the so-called ethnic stores, like the African stores or the Caribbean store, because they have a chain, because they importing that shit from the Caribbean or Africa. So the foods tend to be without having all the steroids and shit and preservatives on it. Yeah, so just check them stores out, and you all will be able to find healthier food in them kind of stores. They call it ethnic in America, but here, well, we know it's black stores. Yeah. But and like I say, the last thing I wanted to say is in terms of being revolutionary. Not only is health revolutionary, how the brothers relate to one another, because they always want us to be in contentious situations, fighting, being an argumentative way. That's why I don't. Even if I disagree with the brothers, I don't come on to them like that, because the goal is to get us at each other's throats. So I try to flip it and relate in a way to where I could just defray that and try to talk to my brothers in a human kind of way, because they want us to relate to each other in a kind of, contentious kind of way. So
Yeah,
this
look
is
at
the
them.
reason why. Yeah. So it's all the revolutionaries in your head sometimes. Yeah, it's in your head. You gotta kill that white supremacist in your head first, and then when you get on the street to try to apply that on a daily kind of circumstance, that's the way to be revolutionary. It ain't just about grabbing the guns. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. And I would just implore the brothers to think on that level as well. But I'll end it there.
Real quick, I saw Webb in the chat mention he was in Colombia recently. I know Afro Native World would be familiar with that area. Afro Native World, there's this vegan spot I like to go to here in New York. And they have they're Colombian. No, actually, there's a Colombian restaurant across the street, but this place, I guess they might be Colombian too, because one of the big dishes they have is bandeja paisa. I think that's the national dish of Colombia, but they have a vegan version of it. So the arepa and stuff and all that is vegan. So I just want to throw it out there. Also want to shout out Provide Triggers for Evolution. She has been listening to our show for a long time too. She's usually in the background. I appreciate it though. She says, while we have access to fresh produce in the global south, how we cook is detrimental to our health. Our use of sugar, flour, seed oils, etc. is atrocious. She goes on to say, alcohol consumption, smoking, too, are detrimental to our collective health. And lastly, she says, unfortunately, too, eating healthy has become synonymous to whiteness. That's an interesting statement. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think the concept of eating healthy is seen within our community as trying to act white? Anyone?
Hey, brother, I'm sorry, Koku. Could I say something about that real quick?
Yes, sir.
I think, I agree with that 100%. Because like you could equate it to like, remember the young black man or woman in high school speaking proper English. You know what I'm saying? I mean, talking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How we used to say, well, you acting white. You know what I'm saying? And then, eating good food. You talking about eating that vegan food. You acting white. That's what them white boys do. You know what I'm saying? I equate that with that. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I hear you, but I can imagine that. That's what I mean with I hear you. But the healthy food association that I have is with Rastaman.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. That Ital food, yes, yeah. But I'm just saying, like in America, that's in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, or in other places. But like here in America, it's kind of a little bit different. But I agree with you though, 100%, Jose.
Yeah, I know what I 100% also understand what you explained, but because that's us. Because we at this point we are giving away hip hop, and rock is nowadays a white thing. So we are so. I think it's because we always ask ourselves what is white, and white almost sounds like right.
Yeah,
it's exactly. One letter, and in our minds, why are we always occupied or occupied with or comparing with what whites do? Why don't we compare with South Asians? Why don't we compare with But it's always, I mean,
Jose,
how are we going to fire this white voice in our head?
Jose, you know what I say about that? It's like you remember the movie Roots, where the white man beat all the African out of Kunta Kinte when they had him stripped. Okay, we still got that psychological whip on our back. Only we doing it now. You know what I'm saying?
We've been doing it for the past 100 years.
Exactly what I'm saying though, but that's the answer. we beating all the sense out of our own damn ass.
Ain't
You
that
know what
so?
I'm saying? I mean, you know, the white man's ice is colder. The white man's ideas is better. You know,
Yeah, we don't
you
stand
got a
our ground.
PhD, you got a PhD from Harvard. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we don't stand our ground. It's like we have nothing. I don't know what it is. We don't stand our ground.
Yeah.
Okay,
And if you think of, I
okay.
think about it.
They're
When I think
gayifying
about
hip
it,
hop.
yeah.
Sorry.
And when I think about it, that like the way the Rasta people live, you know, with the food. I mean, these white folk got that from them.
Yeah,
They
yes,
got it from them.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Like 10, 20 years
They
ago,
got it from them. They went down there and got it from them.
It would be whites on festivals with dreadlocks
Yeah.
that eat
Ooh.
healthy, supposedly.
And Jose, I'm gonna interrupt and I'm gonna shut up. One thing, it's a movie. When I was about 14 years old, 15, I seen a movie. It's a perfect example. You remember it was a movie called Countryman.
No.
Y'all remember Countryman? Where the two white kids, the white boy and the girl went down to Jamaica, and the Rasta brother had taught him how to, you know, he basically ended up saving their life, and how he was teaching them the Ital lifestyle, how to eat right.
I watch Countryman. That's an old Jamaican movie.
Okay. I mean, it was a perfect example, man. Now, I'm gonna be quiet, man. Let everybody else talk.
No, it's all good. The conversation is nice. This is the first night in a long time where we've almost had a full house on the panel. I want to point out this comment from Afro Native World after I mentioned that dish. And you see why, again, I have to say it again. This is why I personally like coming and do Shoot the Breeze, because I learned something. So I'm thinking this is a across the country dish. And what he tells me here, bandeja paisa is a regional dish of the Central Andean region, mostly whites and mestizos, called the Paisa region. Black folks on the coast don't like that dish. Now I know something different, and I appreciate that knowledge. Also, provide triggers for evolution is dropping a lot of stuff in the chat too. So you guys make sure to check out what she's saying. Processed foods aren't good for you. Trigger Happy said if we study African diets, removing the colonial aspect, eating healthy is African. I believe that too.
Yes, it is. It is.
The question of will Caribbeans, can African Caribbeans stop eating curry?
That's blasphemy.
Yeah,
that's blasphemy.
You have to wrestle that curry pot out their dead hand or something. Let me welcome in our boy. We haven't seen him in a bit. We welcome in Kevin Carre, man. Kevin Carre, how are you this week?
I'm good. A little exhausted. You know, I had to jump on with this week. You're discussing health, and as a full-time.
Peace, Kevin Carre.
Huh? Can you hear me?
Say peace, Kevin Carre.
Hey, how you doing, man? Yeah. I had to jump on this conversation. I listen in the background about health, man. It's bad. It's real bad in our community now. But the other thing that people are not talking about, another issue that we're facing along with health is mental health. With now that New York State has legalized weed, now you're seeing all these illegal let me call it as it is, these Arabs coming in and selling this weed, and it's really affecting a lot of our youth. You know, I was looking at, like, before the pandemic, it was not legalized. All of a sudden now, you know, as someone made a point on I forgot what I was watching, is like from the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. the city is very much peaceful until these teenagers come out and start the chaos. But we got to start watching these stores. You know, they're selling us all this junk food, all this weed with the chemicals in it, and no one seemed to care. It's like we're into the age of nihilism right now. No one cares about anything. That's the problem what we're having. Like, I've seen in my neighborhood, we had all these health food stores closed down because no one is supporting them, or also they're being priced out.
Thank you. I was I didn't finish what I was trying to say. We don't stand our ground. So and it's obvious in culture, like music. So we didn't stand our ground with rock. It got feminized and whatever that whites these twisted sisters made out of it, and then so we distanced us from it. Okay, gone. hip hop right now, the same is happening. But another thing. So my whole life I was engaged with youth, grassroots. Black boys in the streets, handing out a hand, or telling them or showing them that they are somebody and can. And what I'm noticing is it's been maybe 20 years that I saw a teenage black child, youngster, with an instrument, a real instrument, not a laptop, not a sampler, but a guitar, a drum, a bass guitar, or a saxophone, or whatever. It's been 20 years that I have seen black youth with real instruments. I mean, yes, we don't care. We don't care.
Oh,
Nobody
Jose,
cares.
can I say something too about that?
Yeah.
Have you listened, like Koku? You're in New York City too. Remember when we were in college, you had different variety of music, right?
Right.
Now everything is just drill rap. This thing, it's so bad. You like just listen to it. It's just like demonic music. It's like the same beat. There's no instrument, nothing. It's just like a
No
war
care.
chant. Huh?
No care at all.
Yeah, it's just bad right now. It's like it was like a flip of the switch moment. I have seen it. I said I can only speak for New York City, but it's like no one gives a damn anymore, and no one wants to learn. Like you can tell them all you want about health, and you can show them they don't care because they've got to the point where they were on that phone since they were like little kids, and no one's paying attention. Now we have this major problem now with these kids. No one wants to learn anything. You can have all the knowledge in the world on the internet, but if you're not accessing and only thing you want to see is drill rap videos and whole culture, that you're not going to win. It's just sometimes you just got to separate yourself from this greater part of our society and build something new. That's the only way we can grow again.
Provide trigger for evolution. Maybe these are the words. So everything sophisticated, that's not for us. It's bourgeoisie. It's something on that frequency. I don't know what it is, but we have lost, or we are losing care completely. Food, our stomach is our brain. It's one big mess.
Yeah, I think Jose said it well just now. I think it's just a thing with the masses. I think masses just kind of go with the flow, and I think that's the issue that we have. A lot of us are just going with the flow. It is what it is. You'll hear that sometimes up on this panel. People say it is what it is, and I don't really jibe with that well. Like I think when you're trying to do something different, you got to be something different, and I think we got to look into our health. Afro Native World in the chat mentioned curry, and he said it's not African. Are we ready to re-Africanize diets and remove non-African foods? I am. Really and truly, I am. I think it's time for us to eat in a way that suits who we are as a people. Clearly, the diets that we're under out here in the West, it's not for us. You know what I mean? It's not for us. We got to change it up. Thanks to everyone who commented on that prompt just now. Is there any last thoughts on that prompt?
Yes, one. Go to Africa for at least 3 months, then come back to your Western diet, and you will know in the toilet or in your pants that it's shit that we eat here.
Yeah, can I add to that? Someone, they said they left the United States. Didn't you know that's a big thing now? A lot of people are leaving the United States and just leaving forever. They said when they went overseas and they ate the food, they didn't feel as bloated as when you eat American food. They said you can eat a lot and you still you feel much more healthier and your mental state clears up. And yes, you're right about something. I did this experiment. I went vegan for like a month and it just felt different. I didn't crave sugar anymore. I didn't crave all that salt. It's just that the American there's three things. I call it the three-headed monsters. You got the medical industry, you got the food industry, and you got the one that promotes all that stuff, the media. They're if you can get rid of all three, we have a better life.
My bad. I was talking with the mic muted. By the way, Anthony, your mic is muted. So if you do go to say something, just unmute your mic. All right?
No. I digress.
No, I'm talking to Anthony. If your mic is muted, so if you were to go to say something, Anthony, just unmute your mic first. All right?
Yeah, okay, just unmute it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Shoot the breeze topic number 4 tonight.